I wanted to talk about how I came up with the design for my 18th century stomacher, and I actually started with this book. This was given to me a few years ago by my friend Joanne and is a wonderful resource for anybody who's interested in starting embroidery from the 18th century. Inside there are some nice examples of stomachers. They weren't exactly what I was looking for, so I turned to the internet. Hooray, Google. So I narrowed it down to these two designs. This one is from the Manchester Art Gallery, and this one is from the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston. I like this one because it had a little bit of a structured design at the top, but it wasn't so structured that I would have to spend hours and hours trying to get everything perfectly symmetrical. And I liked this one because it had a really interesting diagonal design. So these were the two that were in the running for the end product. So next I took my tracing paper and colored it in so that I could see what the design would look like with the gold and silver metal embroidery. So that is step one, picking your design. Step two, I made it a little bit bigger and I also simplified the pattern. Originally there was another flower over here and there was another bit of flower over here. And so I took all that out just to make it a little bit easier on myself since this was my first time doing this sort of embroidery. Oh, here we go. Got to show you my tracing paper. So again, here it is with the tracing paper so I could see what it would look like with the gold and silver metal embroidery. Next, I blew it up to the size of my pattern piece, and along the edge here you can see this is the seam line, and I've added a grid pattern. This was to help me transfer the design from the tracing paper onto the material. So the original dress was made out of a muslin and is in the Kensington Palace Museum. It was made out of cotton, and so I decided to make my dress out of cotton as well. I made the edges much larger than the original pattern piece so that I'd have room to put it inside the embroidery hoop. And again, you can see I basted the same grid pattern onto my fabric. So here's the end piece. Basically, what I did was I took basting thread and basted the design on there, and if you look closely you can see what's left of my little basting stitches. So I basically went around each design, embroidered the broad plate, and then I would clip the threads. I didn't clip these off because I kind of ran out of time with this project. I'm sure you all know what that's like. And I did want to point out one other thing on this. So on this side, this is one of the first flowers that I did. So on this side you can see that there's a lot of space in between my broad plate, and you can see the white material underneath. As I went along, I got a little better towards this end, and you can hardly see any of the white material. This is the goal and what you want it to actually look like. So goals, people. Anyways, I'm very happy with how this turned out, and thank you so much for joining me today and listening to my design progress. Have a great day.